Now it's time to start working on the spring return. It'll be a bar stock that will slip over this side here, and I have a couple springs that I found in my junk box. I'm going to try to use those probably together like this, and that will give me my spring return, so that whenever this here plunger comes down, it'll be turned back up again like they do on these here plunge router bases. What I'll have to do is get some measurements here. I'll have to get the measurement of how far this part goes from here to here, because that's going to be the total amount of drop. It will start from here and drop down to there. Once it drops down to there, flat to there, that will be the total distance traveled. So then I'll come on this side here and I will get my measurements and things like that. I have to accommodate for the height of the spring as well, and get all that measurements and data all lined up here. And then I'll be ready to start machining, probably on my lathe. I'll be machining the bar stock to go over this, and then I'll have to come up with a part to hold that bar stock on there permanently to the handle on this side, and all of those things. So that's what's coming up next. This is going to be dropping from the top here down to there, and that's about 1.5 inches or so, that area there. And I have to go double that there to hold the spring as well, which will be all this on the side here. So what I need to do is I need to be able to bore down double this height here. I don't have a boring bars long enough to do that, so what I'll do is I'll make an extension for this. And so I'm going to be boring a hole that's going to fit over this here on the bar. I don't have much room here to work on top of here to get this here width as far as making an extension. And what I mean by that is, here would be the bar I would use for the extension. Okay, it's a 1/2 inch bar. That doesn't give me very much room to fit inside here when I go to bore this on the outside here that's going to fit this. And what I mean by that is, if I were to put the boring bar here in this, if I make a hole to put this boring bar into to increase the length of it, all right, if I don't have much room to thread in any kind of set screw to hold that nice and tight. So my thoughts on this is going to be is I'm going to go with a split collar. I'm going to make this long enough that I can put a flat on here. I'll be able to bore through to accommodate for the size of the boring bar inside like this, and get a good grip on here, maybe down about here, and then split this so far down, and then by putting a flat on top of here, I can then draw down on my tool post holder and clamp down on this. And another nice thing about that is, by not using a set screw, I'm not damaging this here, because this could get very tight inside here. By making a split collar here, I have a way that I can actually pull this back out without damaging this here. Okay, so now I need double that, at least double that for the boring. So that would be the here and then about here. And so that's the distance that this would be traveling now inside the workpiece, from about here to here of the boring I'm going to need. Plus I'm going to need the distance here on the tool post itself. And by doing that, I then can establish where I want to cut this off at, which would be about right here. That should give me enough to clamp onto, and enough to be able to get the boring bar in to really get a good bite on this right here. I thought I was going to have to ring this, but I just took a 3/8 inch drill bit, which matches this, and I didn't have to ream it. I just drilled it. And watch this. So it's I don't think I need to ream it. I don't think I'm going to have to ream it, because that's fitting there pretty good. Okay. Alright, I'd say it's freaking real good. Alright, next up would now to take this to my mill machine and do the slitting of it, and doing a flat on top of the one part there and getting it ready. Now, like I said, this was just drilled with the drill bit only, but you guys see this. This is, I mean that shows right there that, you know, they say that a drill bit doesn't drill straight, and it doesn't. I agree. but I mean that's in steel, and that's a pretty good drilling, just for a drill bit, and that's pretty deep too. I mean, I went down way down to here. Wow. Okay, enough playing around for right now. Okay, now here's why I said that I have to split this and I can't have a set screw in here holding this, because this here part of the extension has to go inside the bore to be able to bore the distance I need to bore with. And so I have to have this very, I mean, look how close it is to the bore it's going to be. So if I had a set screw in here, it's only going to interfere. But I believe that if I can split this and then put a flat on here, that the screws on the tool holder can come down and clamp that on here, I think that would support it all that it needs. It would support it fine. Okay, so now I'll go over to my mill and I'll make a flat on here, and then we'll start slitting this down so far so that we can make a clamp out of this now. Would go in about, not quite 4 inches, roughly in that area there. Tighten it back here to hold the holder, and this screw will tighten down the boring bar itself, and this one here will. Doesn't take much. That should work. That clamps it up nice and tight. And when I loosen it, I can adjust it this way here a little bit, wherever I need. And once I get it adjusted, then I can just tighten it up. It doesn't take much, just a little bit. And that'll clamp that there down nice and tight. And that gives me good support. Okay, we'll go ahead and get everything ready now to do the boring in the workpiece. 7x10 mini lathe here. I have my the compound slide here in this orientation here. I could pull that back a little bit farther if I needed to, but right now I'm tight on here like this. And here's my workpiece, and if I put that against a workpiece and across there like that, we can see that there's a lot of work to be done here to bore this, because I have to bore this down about here from here, and so I'm going to have to do this in stages. So this video here is going to be pretty much of a learning experience and a teaching here of how to work with a very small lathe and big work pieces, and just systematically coming up with an idea, ways here of how to accomplish this. And so let's just go step by step and work this out. And that's coming up next. Starting out with a 1/2 inch screw machine size drill. Short boring bar first to go so far in, and once I get the front side here to close to where I need to be, then I can start going with my longer boring bar and working my way back. This will take me for about maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches. I need to go about 3 3/4, almost 4 inches all the way. So this will get me part of the way in. And like I said, I'll work this front side here first to the dimension inside diameter it needs to be. And then I'll start working my way back with the longer boring bar, and that's the stages, the steps that I'll be doing this in to accomplish this. Working on a large workpiece with a small lathe, you have to plan out the sequence of operations in a way of accommodating for the mismatch in lengths here. And I'll pull that another 10, here's another 20 thou off the full diameter and see how that works. Okay, I'm looking for about 660. About 20 thou to go yet. So far it's going nice with this here small boring bar. The short one here, everything's going nice. So now what I'm going to do is once I get this to the final inside diameter, then I can start working my way back again on that. Here's 10. Let's just go 20. It can be a little bit loose. Well, I better take a little bit. About like that. Start here. Let that sneak up on if I can. Let's take a real quick one right here. Just real quick. If I can get it in there. That might be about 55, so we should be okay. Plus, I'm going kind of fast with it now, too. Maybe I'll get a little more speed to it this time. Okay, about 10th thou to go yet. Now I'm not looking for this to be a press or a kind of a tight fit or anything either. I just need it to be able to comfortably fit this here shaft. And we're almost there. I want to have a little bit of play on there for this here because this is just for holding spring tension. And I'm about 1.5 about 1.5 away. So let's go ahead and touch off here. And just get another about 2 off of the full diameter here and see what we do. Might be a little more than that. A little bit right there. I'm going to do a spring pass too. I'm going to do one spring pass here real quick too. I was using a hand crank, but now I'm just going to use the, I was using the lead screw crank handle, but now I'm using the regular carriage handle. Yeah, that's a good spring pass there. That should probably do it. Let's see what we got here now. That's pretty darn close. Alright, let's do a couple more spring passes. I gave it about another 1,000 while it was inside there, so now I'm pulling out about 1,000 more off the diameter here. We'll see what that would do for it now. I think this should do it now. Let me get a little chamfer there now. A little hand chamfer here. Alright, ready? And let's see. This should work, and it should come pretty good. Alrighty. Now there's some debris in here yet too, but so we got our piston fit again. But I think I'm going to let it go at that for right now. Because now I need to get the longer boring bar now to go back farther now. That gives me about that much right now from here to here. And I need to come down a little bit more. Yeah, I need to come almost 4 inches altogether. It comes down to, but that's going to work fine to that point there. I like that's a good diameter now, inside diameter. So let's continue on. Now what I'll do is I will like I said, work this in stages. I will now take my next boring bar, or else I can extend this out a little farther now and keep on working back until I get to the point where I can actually get the large boring bar in there and work it in there and get it back and forth there in stages. Okay, let's just start doing it and stop talking about it and start doing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to extend this here bar out a little further now in its holder. Extend that out a little more now this way. About there. That gives me a little bit more. how far I can go in with this first. Yeah, it gives you a little more to work with. Okay. Bar extended out as far as I can go with a small bar now, so I think it's time now to use the extension we made and see how that works now. This is the small one here. Now it's time for the extension. And we'll see how that works out now. And flat on top. And what I can do is put in a little bit at a time. I can put it back here first. Actually, I can actually go almost in here now. To about here. Let's see, get this in here. I want it here. Get that lined up. And we'll get that. Just see how far that would take me. I think it's gonna be enough to. Okay, it's gonna be a little farther. So I can start working my way back this way into there now more. We'll start right here for right now. And we'll see how that works now. I do a little more drilling now because I'm only back as far here. What I got to do now is put excuse me, I had to put my drill back in there again, and since I used my stubby drill, the screw machine drill, I only went back so far with it, but now I got all this room here. I can since all this is bored out here now, I can take a regular long jobber drill now, 1/2 inch, and go back to my final depth that I need to go here, and then I can start doing the boring job again. Start using a drill bit like this again, and that'll take me back. Okay, and you only need to go back about to here, up to here. I got it all lined up here on my gauge here, so I only got to go from here to about here. That's about okay. So I get some things marked off here, and I'll come back. So in here, I could put the bit in first in here, and then set my tailstock up. And slide a tailstock onto the bed here until I'm getting enough grip here on the bit. And boy, that just covers right there. Right now, the tailstock is tight to the back side. The drill bit is practically touching the back side here now. So we'll see what I can get here. I'll have to take the tailstock off this back here just a little bit. There we go. Tighten this bolt down, or the nut down here on the tailstock. And then we'll continue to drill. I gotta go this line right here now. This is the farthest I gotta go with it. Let's make sure that we've got enough clearance here. Yeah. Let's see what we can do here now. Here we go. Nice and slow. Take it nice and slow, nice and easy. There we go. Good. Alright. Nice and easy. There we go. There we go. Alright. There, it's starting to grab now. There we go. Good. There we go. Okay. We're in. Okay, we're in. That's good. I like it. There we go. Alright. it's seating itself in its own hole now. So that's good. It's not, before it did not have anything to seat itself into. It's a flat bottom hole practically, because the other drill bit didn't leave much of a starter point. This is going good here now. It's like I'm cutting a chip. Got a chip inside there, probably. I want to break that chip. I think it broke it. Yeah, there we go. I think it was cutting on top of a cutted chip, and it wasn't cutting this metal anymore. Yeah, it's not. It's cutting the chip. Take the tail stock off here a little bit. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's cutting the front of the drill bit was cutting the chip. Thought it felt like a lot of pressure going there. There it goes out. And as I said, I have to do some and see that's all how much I have the grip here too on the grip right down here on the flats this time. It takes me a little more of a table, but off the bed, but we'll see. Tighten this in there. Let's try something. Right there. Now get it tight. Back in a hole again. Alright, here we go. Yeah, now it's cutting. Now it's cutting again. It's good. Patiently do this every so often here until I get that where it needs to be, because it keeps on building up in the hole itself. So I have to keep on pulling out. I only go so far before I have to pull back out again. It's about the third time I've done this now, so it's just patiently doing it. It's building up in the flutes, so it's making it tight. And I can't keep on backing out that far, and I got to clear those chips out. Sometimes they just back up a little bit like this, that's as far as I can go, and back in. Sometimes that loosens the chips up in the flutes too. I think it's really packed again. getting packed. So leave that running again. I'll loosen everything up. Pull him back out again. And keep on going out a little bit at a time. They're packed. Still got about an inch to go yet. Or that's millimeter, yeah. That's about an inch to go yet. 3/4 inch. There we go. That's what happens to small machines. Got this work a little bit at a time. I like benchtop machines. I like small machines to work with. I like model making. Benchtop machinist. There, now that's gonna come. Oh, that's gonna break out now. Good. I got more room now to move that back, so that just helps out. Okay, so the bit's all the way through there now. So So what I'll be doing is I have room now to bore as far as I can go now, and then on the other side here I'll eventually thread and put a cap on there, and that will take care of that.